Hi guys, this is your girl Betha Ikia Asari, right? And I am here to share some exciting and entertaining information with you, right? So it's been a while, as you all know. Like I said in my previous video, I got married and I'm done with school. I graduated, so I have my master's of arts in sustainable international development. I did that because I have a background, I have a banking background, right? And I was passionate about, I'm still passionate about helping persons living with disability, right? So my main goal was to understand how to run a non-profit, how to network, how to understand some of the existing policies, how to write good policies and come up with great recommendations for my country and for any company that I work with, right? So let me tell you something. I'm done with school, and let me tell you that I'm currently working. Today I just want to share some information to you if you're worried about your program that you're reading and how you can get a job, right? I'm going to share my story of how I got my job, right? I am working as an information security analyst. Okay, you'll be like, okay, so SID, right? And how did you move to IT? How did you do it? Like, how did I do it? So I just want to share with you some tips. If you are here already, you're about to complete schools, you need that tip. If you're now coming, you need that tip. So everybody really need that tip pretty much. Okay, so this is what I did. Let me share the story with you briefly before I move to the tip. So when I came to the United States, I kind of observed what's happening, and I realized that, man, it's IT and it's health that is running. Medicine is a big thing, biotech is a big thing. So they do the drugs, the clinical trials to make sure that test is on animals and people, to make sure that we have drugs to cure cancer, sickle cell and all that. So I researched, I'm like, okay, so my SID thingy, what am I going to do with it? Because I really wanted to work a little bit in the United States even before I go back to Ghana. So I realized that with my SID background, I can actually volunteer in a non-profit organization, okay? Because I realized also that the NGOs, they don't really pay much like that, okay? It was like 40,000, 50,000 a year, and you hear it's big like that. I know you are changing the money, you are converting the money in Ghana cedis or Nigerian naira or whatever you have in your country. That man is big. But if you live in an expensive state like Boston, Massachusetts, you can't really do much with 50,000. You basically be doing hand to mouth. What I did when I came was like realized that, man, I'm different, okay? And I realized that the international students over here, we easily give up. But I am telling you that don't settle for less. Don't give up. You are different. When you come, everybody will be like, oh, when you're done with school, you can only get the home care jobs. You can only get these small jobs. Small jobs is not your thingy, buddy. Small jobs. I know people people are like, okay, you can only do STEM. STEM is great, but I know people who did non-STEM programs and the company filed for H1B for them. I'll be interviewing few of my people who got H1B. So it's kind of, you're different. Don't be listening to people. What can you do for yourself? So before I was done, I had few people. I always look at LinkedIn, I always look at Indeed, all the job website. The first thing I did was I went to this career office to tweak my resume to meet the American standard, right? And I made sure that I sold myself at the summary portion where I said, okay, I have over 5 years experience in non-profit, in sales, and in humanitarian. I've also been able to empower over XYZ people. I'm looking forward to an organization that can actually help me grow or help me make that contribution to support them. And then I started off. So pretty much we had a 6-month internship where you have to go do an internship in an organization to learn for 6 months. And this internship is unpaid. Over 85% of them are unpaid. I'm like, Jesus, how can I pay my rent? That is $650 every month. Pay my accommodation, pay my food, pay for electricity. How would I survive at Gaza with this no unpaid stuff? Remember, there are a lot of unpaid internships in America. It's all about you sell yourself, oh buddy. No matter how less you have an experience, put yourself out there. I realized that Charlie is about the first thing I did was I bought a camera and I was all over the school. Like, I was the photographer. Charlie, I can't tell you photography. I established a photography by force, going to the schools, telling them, oh, if you need a photo shoot, I could do photo. I do wedding, pre-wedding, pre-divorce, pre-breakup, all the videos. So I do it, and I was all over. Like, I mean, you see me with my backpack, and I'll be throwing all that. That's what I did. So I started connecting with the student advisor. Most of my professors like, I need this, I need a job. They're like, oh, okay. So I apply internship. I moved to LinkedIn. I started talking to people. I'm like, gosh, I need an internship, and I spoke to one person on LinkedIn, and then one of my colleagues that I used to run a non-profit where he was like, wait, this is my company is actually recruiting, and America, it's about whom you know. But me, I'm telling you, it's all but just that it's not like bribing your way out, but someone has to recommend you. So make sure that when you come, start networking with people. You need an American experience on your resume first before you move to the next level. Okay, so if you come and you are not even like the first day you come, you can do volunteer job. Start off, like, look for something. If it's once every Sunday, start it. If it's near your house, go do it and put it on your resume like you volunteer, so they know that you have an American experience. And make friends here. Start talking to people. If someone doesn't talk, refer you. They believe in referral a lot. In my company, we have what we call the referral bonus. So if I refer you and you get a job, I get paid. That is how it works. So they believe in me saying that, okay, I know Kweku Menu than Kweku Menu himself applying through the company link. So try and put yourself out there. When you start, you talk to people about your achievement, what you can do. When you go to the volunteering job, sell yourself, be hardworking. I started off my first month, I think I did a volunteering job because I knew my goal. I worked in a media house, and my first time, I remember when I got there, the accent was different. The girl came, is like, so you touch the camera, so you move it here, you pan it there, and there was a live show. They were like, rolling and action. I'm like, Jesus. I didn't know how to pan the camera. They were like, camera one, pan to the left. I hear the technician was like, Jesus, I didn't know how to do it, but I was determined, right? That was why I learned basic camera tricks and videography more. Fast forward, I did that, and so when I submitted, I gave my resume to my friend who was working in the biotech, and we were 10 people. They wanted one person. So who were all Americans and other countries, with me and my thick accent. They called me for the interview, and then I had some way wig be on my head, and I had my smiles. But I remember one thing: whenever they asked me the questions, I make sure that I tied it to my achievements in Ghana and what I was doing a little bit here. So I'm like, my name is Bertha. I'm so excited to meet up with you guys. Oh my gosh, I read a lot about your company. I'm so thrilled to see what you guys are doing. It's so amazing to cure sickle cell. Maintain that. Make them, give them that vibe. Communicate. Don't be so serious about it. So fast forward, I got that internship. 10 people. I was selected because it's about talking well and convincing them you can do the job, right? They're just looking at the confidence. So fast forward, I got the job. I was in HR. Someone with an SID background, like Sustainable International Development. In the HR role, I was all over the place. I was helping with corporate communication. Whenever I was in the job, I was like, hey Kelsey, is there anything you want me to help you with? I make sure I always ask for more help. I make sure that I connected with some IT team with it, and so it got to a time that the company didn't make it to the sickle cell stage, right? The second phase of sickle cell trial, they had to cut off a lot of people. I was still doing my internship. My hope was that I got the job there, but after, because they were cutting people, they didn't even cut me off. I finished my internship. This internship was paid, and I was making good money in my pocket, right? And so I was seeing money in America. I'm like, whoa, I've arrived. So I did an internship for 6 months. I wrote my master's thesis paper, and I was done. So after I was done, my CEO wrote to me that he was so excited, but unfortunately, they can't keep me because they are not making it and all that. So they said that if I need any reference, I should just let them know. And I was so passionate about IT. I was so passionate about security. I I like to explore. Okay, so I'm like, okay, so I have my NGO background. Obviously, I'm going to run my non-profit, but passion doesn't pay the bills. Or there's a passionate bill. I'm passionate about sustainable international. I'm passionate about helping disabled. Yes, I'm passionate, but passion doesn't mean physical. So I realized I need to do something to help my passion, and that was my interest in cybersecurity. Okay, so I saw this, I connected with my friends. I'm like, I want to do that. I'm like, is this thing technical? Can I really do it? Like, when I see IT people, I'm like, man, they're so smart. I don't think I can do IT. Jesus. The good thing and the first thing I did was to hop on to Udemy and Coursera. If you are listening to me, it is a great place to start learning. Sometimes they run free programs. Please take advantage of it. Take advantage of Coursera. It's a site where you can learn any skill. And the good thing about America is that when you learn these technical skills and you put it on your resume, a lot of recruiters try chasing you. So I started going to Coursera. Sometimes it's hard because it's self-paced. I was like, challenge this IT thing, and the endpoint and the vulnerability and all that. And then I realized, okay, I had a little bit of, during the time that I was in banking, they were doing more of IT audit, XYZ. So I'm like, let me just restructure my resume. I restructured my resume, and I heard of a boot camp that was going on for 3 months training. So it was so expensive. It was like 3,000, right? I'm like, I don't have that money, but I told the instructor if I can pay bi-weekly. I used to work very hard, and the later I get, I used to pay. I told my friends, but they were like, no, this one, you are not even a citizen, and if you go and do it, you won't even get the job. You said you won't even get it. Let's just go and wipe ass, let's just go and do home care, because you will not get it. Oh yeah, you can't get it. I'm like, let me try now. I just decided to hop on the class. We were first time, second time. It was tough. A lot of, how do we call it? They have a lot of they have a lot of terminologies, like technical terms that sometimes you get confused, and they have a lot of frameworks. So in cybersecurity or information system management, right, they have a lot of framework. We have the commercial framework and we have the government framework. So the frameworks are like we have the NIST framework. Okay, we have the NIST, we have the SOX, we have the COSO, we have COSO, we have CORBIT, we have a lot of them. So they were teaching us a lot of frameworks, and I got so confused. But one thing I realized was that all these frameworks, they are tied to ensuring that information is available, information is confidential, and information, there's integrity in information. So anything you do, make sure that is part of it. And they were like, oh, you wouldn't be doing any technical thing, or you'll be doing only policies and all that. So I was excited, but got to a point, technical things were coming in, but I tweaked my resume and I posted it. Charlie, I applied based on my SID background. I apply a bet to say 58 or 95 jobs. I didn't get. Thank you so much for applying. At this point, we have decided to move on to the next phase, and we didn't include you. Okay, signing. So we wish you the best, and we'll keep your resume. That was all I was hearing. I'm like, God, Father, every morning I'll pray. I make a declaration in the name of Jesus. I am getting the job. I'm moving into my job. I was never giving up because I believe that I won't do 50,000 job, because so we don't need, maybe you want to save the world. I get it, but what I'm trying to say is that it's persistence, it's determination, it's you talking to more people, learning, growing yourself. Move out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone or the head, but you have to move out of your comfort zone. I did a lot of YouTube readings on cyber. Here I was one morning, one recruiter just emailed me like, hi, we saw your resume, you're excited, there's this company looking for an information security analyst, and I want to talk to you about it. I'm like, okay. So I hopped on the call with a recruiter, and she was so nice. She told me that, girl, you're very good, but looks like when you in the initial stages of your conversation, you're not confident enough. So I'm encouraging you that when you meet this people, be confident. Okay. I went to do all my research. I'm like, what? Then she sent an email that the director of the IT team will be interviewing me. How many years? I went to check on LinkedIn the years of experience my boss has with it, over 30 years, and the other person who will be joining is having like over the other person who will be joining is having over 23 or whatever. I'm like, okay. Did I bad? I maybe go catch you go away. I'm like, oh. So they called on phone. The first time was a phone interview. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for calling. I'm excited. I was looking forward to hearing from you. And I heard a lot. I read a lot about your company. I must say congratulations, because even in COVID, the company is moving on, and you've expanded to another branch in Lexington. I kept on hearing like, oh yeah, and he started, I had prepped for the questions and all that. And Crown started, he was like, can you give me some technical things that you used to do when you were in your bank or when you were in because I use my training back, when we're doing training, it counts as project. So I talked more about that. She's like, okay, and I also asked him what are some of the systems they use to ensure security, and what is the detail of the job. How is the job going to be like? I mean, I've seen it on the job description, but sometimes the job description doesn't do justice to what they really want me to do. Are they looking forward to someone who will just be creating policies, or they'll be looking for someone who will be doing a mixture of both, to create policies and scan vulnerabilities, make report about audit logs and IT logs, and all that, And she's like, yeah, that's a good question. I'm looking for someone with an all-rounded figure, all-rounded experience. The good thing about what I kept saying was like, the exciting thing about me is that I am a fast learner. You don't take years to train me, and I can just hop on. I was selling myself. Send me a fast learner. Send me a fast learner. Yeah, no meaning. So he was like, okay. So and I told him that, oh, so when am I going to hear from you? And he's like, oh, okay. Will you hear from us? If we decide to move on. I'm like, okay. I knew that I did my best, but I knew that they will call me or they might not come. So I was there, and the lady called. The next day was like, oh my gosh, brother, what did you do? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, brother, this is so good news. They want to move on with the next interview with you. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. He's like, brother, we gotta work on your confidence. Like they want to move on to the next step now. I think we were now 5 people that they were moving on with, and these people have more experience than you. Maybe in Ghana, I got IT papa bay. I'm IT worker, but like with Ghana, we don't really do much of cyber. I know they do, but it's not more detail. So I'm like, wow, they're moving to the next stage. As at that time, I was interviewing for an HR role in another biotech company, and the good thing is that I trusted that biotech company, like that HR role. Even that one was contract too. See what God can do. I went through the first, second with them, third. Those ones, because HR and non-profit, they did them senior ones that I'm able to talk with. Because all technical to do with them mechanical, I say it as confidence. I feel so sharp and all that. So I'm like, hey, thank you so much. So in recruiting, what do you do? What are some of the? When do you do your benefits enrollment? I was asking all those wild questions. The final day, those HR people came back. The HR job I was recruiting for came back, and they were like, we think you're good, but looks like you don't have much experience in recruiting. I'm like, dang. Now the HR crowd put no man famia. Keeps chatting me. What's that? Now the HR put no man famia. Cyber the meeting. If I didn't even get the HR, how about the cyber? How am I really going to get it? Oh, I waited for the cyber day that day. My heart was boom, boom, boom. I prayed to God. I'm like, God, I love to do this job. I really want to do this job. I really want to be an IT, like work in IT, learn more about that. Because I mean, as part of my non-profit, I want to be able to empower young women to learn more about IT and security. It's not scary, right? So I just don't want it to make the money, but I want to understand it so that in the longer term I could help train people. Okay, like this organization that trained me, it's a good thing that I can also train people in Ghana and give back to the society. So I told God that help me. I've always been a believer of God, whenever times are hard, I try to connect to my source every day. Sometimes it feels like God is not there, but let me tell you something. When the timing is right, okay, the Lord really makes it happen. I don't want to preach. Let's move on. So I connected to them, and then they were like, oh, brother. So he had a background, and I also had the same background on Teams. Like, we have the same background. Then he asked me a lot of technical questions. Jesus. He was like, oh, so what do you think about a single sign-on, and the final question he asked was like, why do you think you're the best candidate? I'm like, okay. I gave what I was supposed to give, and he was like, he asked, okay, let's pretend we are in the staircase. You have 30 seconds. What can you tell me to give you the job? And I told him that not only do I have the experience, that is the technical knowledge, and also the policy aspect, I am also a great team player who can take your company places. And like, okay, so we have 5 more people. I'm like, hey, 5 more people that we are interviewing, and you hear back from us. Okay, I'm like, okay. So when I went, I told my friend that the question, the way I answered it, that wasn't even the answer, like the thing I answered, but I just made sure that I tweaked it to the main role. One thing I can tell you is that if you're going for a job for maybe whatever, like a food vendor, okay, and any question they're asking, share your experience where you sold food. Don't go and bring where you sold maybe wine. I'm trying to say, don't try to be out of context. If you don't even understand it, all my answers, I was making sure that so he asked the question was like, when you return back to your previous company, what is one thing that you think you will change? And it caught me off guard, and I came back, I'm like, one thing I think I would change is one of our system. As I've come here to study more, to know that they are a great system that can collect and store customers' information in a very secured manner. My long-term goal, when I take that role, I want to change that system and improve upon our system to make sure that customers' information is secured and available at all times. So I made sure that I tied it to the cyber role to make sure that he kind of feel like, okay, maybe she doesn't know much, but she understands what she's talking about. So fast forward, I was there, I was not hearing from them. I'm like, okay, let me start applying for other jobs and all that. This person reached out to me on Indeed, and I was on LinkedIn. You don't have to put yourself in one place. Move around. Make sure that the relevant skills that you have, they like technical skills, so make sure that you have some of these skills, like you have SaaS experience, you have PaaS experience, you have any Windows experience, you have any Python, you have any of those technical experience. Put it out there, so those keywords kind of trigger to the recruiters, and they start calling you. Me apply for LinkedIn, but nobody gave me the job, nobody called me, I didn't get a job on LinkedIn. I'm not saying that you can't get a job, you can build connections on LinkedIn. Actually, everyone is different, so I'm telling you, don't be single-minded. Put yourself out there. Fast forward, I had a call from the company. Yay, I got a job, and I've been working for like 45 days now. I'm an information security analyst. I have my own desk to myself. I work 3 days at work and 2 days at home. It is still learning, because it's a growing environment, and there's a new department in the training. There's nothing like training. When I went, my boss put me on a conference call where I had to, the next day you have to speak to vendors like endpoint security agents, antivirus companies, reach out to them, come up with the best antivirus policy. So it's all about confidence. My boss is a very busy man, so you have to always take initiative. Like, hey, do you have some time for us to catch and connect? You can't be like coiling yourself and be mobile here. This place is very different. Like, let people think it's not like Ghana, where when you do that, people will assume that, oh yeah, here it's not like them. Hey, do you have a minute? I just did something. I just need your feedback on it. Don't be scared on feedback. Don't be scared on trying it and showing it to them. Constant learning. Maybe you are doing a different course, okay, but grow yourself. It might not even be that program that can give you the job. Be open-minded. My name is Bertha, and today I've taken a long time to share this experience, but I know it's worth it. When you are coming, make up your mind that you are not 50,000 person. Some people are earning $300,000 a year. Some people are making 160. Some people are making 80. Some people are making 100. Some people are making 120. Some people are making 35. Some people are making 40. Some people are making 60. It is up to you to decide. Am I going for 60? Am I going for 100? In America, whatever you put your mind on, you can do it. So thank you for watching me and my long talk. I love you. Subscribe to my channel.